fellow human beings, and welcome to episode 103 of The Best Plus Life. I'm your best host, Kristen, and today's topic is... Hey, don't make me pop you one, chicken. It's just desserts. Before we get started, I want to thank you all for watching. Please continue to watch, comment, share, like, subscribe, ring that bell, and please pass them on to anyone you think that they would help. With that being said, here's our list of things to do today. We have our daily inspirations. We have de-stressing starts now. And then, if you couldn't get it from the title, which you probably wouldn't, we're making cobbler, because you know how much I love the cobbler. And we're doing something different with chicken today. If you're from the Midwest, like I am, we pronounce soda. We pronounce it pop, just so you know. So that's where this whole theme comes in. Everything we're making today, we're making two things, but pretty quick and easy things, with pop. I know, crazy, right? So we're going to make a cobbler, a fruit cobbler with pop or soda, and we're going to make a chicken dish with pop or soda. And we're going to do the chicken in the crock pot, even though the recipe called for it in the oven. I'm going to read you those recipes in a minute. But let me get started with our positive quotes from the last couple weeks I've been gone. I'm starting with June 30th. And it says, heroes are never perfect, but they're brave, they're authentic, they're courageous, determined, discreet, and they've got grit. Wade Davis. July 1st. An awareness of one's morality can lead you to wake up and live an authentic, meaningful life. Bernie Siegel. The second, the authentic self is the soul made visible. Sarah Ban Breathnack. For the third, there is no intellectual or emotional substitute for the authentic, the original, the unique masterpiece. Paul Mellon. The fourth, find your voice, be authentic, and then dive in with purpose. Julie Foudy. Sorry about that. The fifth, we have to express ourselves in the true and most authentic way. Eugene Lee Lang. The sixth, you can't deny who you are, so you might as well be yourself in the most authentic way. Ben Hopkins. I don't know why the seventh is not up here. Apparently I didn't do one for the seventh. For the eighth, an idea is salvation by imagination. Frank Lloyd Wright. The ninth, all the forces in the world are not so powerful as an idea whose time has come. Victor Hugo. The 10th, we were made perfectly to be loved, and surely I have loved you in the idea of you my whole life long. Elizabeth Barrett Browning. The 11th, true success has more components than one sentence or idea can contain. Estelle Darcy. The 12th, everything begins with an idea. Earl Nightingale. The 13th, moo may represent an idea, but only the cow knows. Mason Cooley. The 14th, to find out what one is fitted to do and to secure an opportunity to do it is the key to happiness. John Dewey. The 15th, hugs make you feel psychologically more secure and together. Leo Buscaglia. The 16th, peace is a fragile thing. It takes courage to secure it. It takes wisdom to maintain it. And apparently I forgot to put who was the author of that or to edit it in any way, because it says add a little bit of body text, which is what it says before I actually write something there. The 17th, build today, then strong and sure, with a firm and ample base, and ascending and secure shall tomorrow find its place. Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. The 18th, but the real secret to total gorgeousness is to believe in yourself, have self-confidence, and try to be secure in your decisions and thoughts. Kirsten Dunst. And for today, music was my joy, my home, the one place it felt happy and secure. I felt happy and secure. Lawrence Welk. All right. Woo! I think I reread some that I had already done. I don't know why, but I feel that way. All right. So I'm going to get the chicken started because I want that cooking on low for at least 4 to 6 hours, I believe. But this recipe is actually not a slow cooker recipe. It is just a recipe for chicken made with pop. Okay. And I'm making several substitutions here because I am not using 5 chicken thighs, bone in, skin on. I am using 6 chicken breasts, boneless and skinless. 1 can of Coke I am not using. I am using a 12-ounce bottle of a fancy black cherry pop called Filberts. I decided if I was going to cook with pop, I might as well at least make it fancy. So that is also what we're substituting. And then 1 cup of ketchup, 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire, a half a teaspoon of salt, a quarter teaspoon of pepper. And you're supposed to preheat to 375, place the chicken in a baking dish, skin side up, and season with salt and pepper. Mix together pop, ketchup, and Worcestershire and pour over chicken and bake 35 to 40 minutes, basting once while cooking. And then for the cobbler, I'm going to go over that because I'm not really following a recipe that I found on anything. I'm just going by what I've seen on a lot of different websites and things. So I'm going to bring my chicken over. And basically all they wanted to do with the salt and pepper is to season the chicken. I have my chicken in a bag so it won't stick. It's also coming out of the fridge, so I kept it a little on the cool side only because I don't want it to get too dried out. And I'm hoping that the pop will keep the tenderness and kind of, keep it moist. I'm going to show you my puppy in a little while, hopefully. I keep forgetting. I don't know why. I get to the point where I get to taste test the food and I lose my mind, I guess. Okay, so I'm just peppering and salting as I would. I'm not following any measurements on that part. If you prefer to do that, feel free. I just want it salty and peppery enough. Okay, and we're pouring liquid over it, so it's not like, it's not getting its other seasoning. All right. Let's off my hands here. I do believe we're done touching this. We'll get to our conversation in a little bit. Right now, we're going to do our mixture where we're supposed to mix the ketchup, the Worcestershire, and the pop together. And I didn't really grab anything to mix that with, so I'm going to do that as well. If I can grab my whisk real quick. How's everybody doing? Yeah, I've been gone for a little while. I took a much needed rest. Alright, so those two things are mixed together. And that was a 1 can, which is equivalent to, smells just like Dr. Pepper, which is what I was going for, but, a much fancier version. I'm going to save myself a little dribble so I know what it tastes like. It's not as sweet, so I'm happy about that since we're using ketchup. Alright. Now, as far as the basting goes, because that was part of the recipe. Baste once while cooking. I think I got the pepper up my nose. Bless me. Yes, those were sneezes. I know, it's crazy. Okay, I did get the pepper on my nose. All right, so I'm pouring this into the bag, hopefully. All right. Oh, there's some ketchup at the bottom. Get in there. All right, now I have made ribs recently, in fact, in a slow cooker with some Dr. Pepper. So this is kind of where the idea of using the pop came from. You know, it's kind of essentially just making a barbecue sauce. Okay. We're just going to make sure they're all pretty well coated. And then I'm just going to twist it up. I'm not going to seal it or anything. As far as basting goes, I shouldn't need to. They're really cinched in there nicely and completely coated. So, I mean, if anything, I might just make sure they stay coated once the liquid starts to, get concentrated. Ugh, pretty heavy. All right, so I'm gonna go super low and slow, like the lowest one I can go on my crock pot, but I want to go at least 4 hours. And that'll be about 5 is when we'll be eating, 5 to 6. So I might turn it up at the end if I feel like they're not quite cooked enough, but for the most part, maybe I better do, I think I've already changed my mind and I'm going to do the second to lowest. Okay. So now, the second recipe I saw someone doing, and I can't for the life of me even begin to tell you who that was. I think I got pepper in my... Yep. No, a little added kick there on this little corner. Okay. So, basically what I'm doing is I'm going to make a cobbler, and I've had some fruit for a little bit that I just combined together, and I put it in a bowl, and what I did with it is I put a little bit of the merino sugar, and a little bit of the merino sugar and a little vanilla in the bowl yesterday with all the fruit that I put in there. So it's strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, and black plums. Okay, so they're gonna go. I sprayed this with a nonstick spray, and I do want. I'm trying to decide. Do I want to reserve the liquid that's in this bowl, or do I want it to become part of the cobbler? And I think my choice is pretty obvious because it's going to give us all that added flavor, right? I mean, anything you use that would have been frozen would have had residual liquid coming off of it as it was baking. So my theory is that I'll just, deal with it as it comes. And then I have a little bit more blueberries, so I think I will add those. But, you can use any kind of fruit, really. I mean, melon probably wouldn't be great, but stone fruits and berries, even bananas might be kind of interesting or fun. This isn't really that much extra, so Magnus wants you guys to see him, so he's getting a little riled up over it. And the easiest thing about this is that there's no egg. There's no butter or oil. It's literally, we're just taking a bottle of pop, and I picked cream soda for this one, and a cake mix. And I picked a butter pecan cake mix because Peyton thought that sounded fun. And then I said, ooh, and then to top it off, I'm going to sprinkle some pecans. And then we're going to essentially be done. with dinner and dessert in a matter of 15 minutes. Now, granted, we're not done, and this does have to bake. Okay, so what I meant by, I was just going to explain it, was because basically what I put for this pop cobbler is what I'm calling it. Or poplar, I couldn't do it. Anyway, so basically what I wrote was fruit. Amounts may vary depending on how fruity you want your cobbler and what size pan you use. I'm using a 13 by 9. The recipe initially, what I saw, was for a 9 by 9, but this seemed like a lot of cake mix for that. So, and then type of fruit just depends on what you like. I'm combining berries and stone fruit, like I said, and then the other two ingredients, one cake mix and the 12-ounce pop, any flavor you like. You could do a root beer. You could do or a ginger with a carrot cake type thing, or the possibilities are endless. But basically, all you're gonna do is spread this out and pour the pop over top and bake it. But I'm thinking for the size that I'm using that it's gonna be like at least 20 minutes, 25 minutes. Okay, and I already kind of opened this pop because I was like, is this a twist off or not? And sure enough, it was a twist off. I have never used butter pecan cake. So I did check to make sure that I could have it, and it just says wheat and milk. And then, so I thought it might be quite delicious. And I'm trying to see how it smells to get an idea. Normally I don't buy brand name cake mixes either, but they had them on sale. And I wanted to have enough cake mix that it will absorb that extra bit of liquid. And I can't believe this recipe is just going to be the veggies, the fruit and the cake mix and the pop. That's it, really. I'm trying to get it all flattened out. Now the lady I saw used a Sprite or a lemon lime. It might have even been sugar free, which in some cases would make this, I don't know, healthier, less sweet maybe. I don't know about healthier, but at least less sweet. But these pops that I picked, because they're kind of a crafted beverage, might just carry a little bit more natural sugar and a little less actual, sugar flavor in it, and more natural, what have you. Okay, I think I wasted enough time spreading it all over. And then I'm just going to even it out a little bit. Okay, and then I'm debating how I want to do the pecans. If I want them covered in the pop, or do I think I don't, because I think the pop should make sure to saturate the cake. Yeah, that was English. That we have enough to saturate the cake mix, It's going to fluff it up. These are definitely more sudsier than I would expect like a regular pop to be. We're getting that kind of foaminess. And I don't believe she covered it with anything. So, oh my gosh, it smells so good. So yeah, root beer with a spice cake I saw somebody do. And then, can't think of the other one I did. Alright, and then now that it's all kind of getting coated with the pop, I think the last thing I'm going to do is just take these pecans and kind of sprinkle them around. We'll see if it looks a little dry because I added stuff. I might have to do a little bit of the, melted butter on the top just to get the rest of the cake mix to, cover the nuts as well. But I think this is going to be pretty yummy. Fingers crossed. I'm trying to remember if she covered it. Don't remember. Really don't remember. Well, we'll start baking, and then if it feels like it's getting overly done or too dark, then I'll cover it up. How's that sound? I'm very excited. You know how much I love the cobbler. Deliciousness. Especially in the summertime. Because you have all these wonderful fruits. I can see it all just sinking in and going into all the cracks and crevices. I'm going to hold it up for you so you can see. Look at that. Oh, and oh boy. Alright. I can't wait. I got... I'm just dropping things all over the place. Okay. So while I'm getting this in the oven, and we're going to check it after, I guess, 10 minutes. We'll see, go from there. We can be talking about our de-stressing starts now. Because we really need to, and I don't know if you're in the same boat as me, but I need to settle down. You know, I need to relax myself. The peace in my brain needs to have a turn, you know? It's had its moments of stress and worry and anxiousness, and, you know, those things don't change anything. We've all realized that in our lifetime, I think. Just because we have worry about it doesn't mean the outcome changes. And I guess for the longest time I thought, oh, you know, if I'm the one worrying, at least nobody else will be, right? That's not true either. So, in all actuality, if we're all worrying, who's coming out on top? Who's coming out on top? None of us, I don't think, you know? None of us are getting a break. None of us are seeing any different results than we would have had we not worried. But I guess the next big thing, or the next big question I have for everyone is, how do we go about that? Right? How do we go about de-stressing now? And that sounds like an urge to panic. Like, I gotta do it right now? Ah! Right? And the last thing we want to do is put pressure on ourselves to be any more under stress. So I know there's breathing techniques, and I know exercise works, but I also need to know of a technique to use when both those things have already been implemented and I'm now on my, fourth, fifth worry. So maybe the first two techniques work for the first two worries, and now I'm on to something completely off the wall and probably illogical in most senses of the word. But the worry level is exactly the same. If not more, because I'm then wondering what I'm really worrying about. Does it make sense? Is what I have in my head matching the worry that's on my mind? Or is it totally illogical? And the more I try to talk myself out of it, the more I feel like I put myself in it, And then there's the pressure to calm your booty down because you're blowing things out of proportion in your head. So the writing obviously has been helping with that also. And the talking it out with you, excuse me, talking out with you guys seems to be helping. And having that little guy in there seems to be helping, although he's always a worry as well. Like, is he growing up right? Am I feeding him too much? Am I getting him the right, I said, I don't think I stress this much about my babies as I do about this dog. And it's been a good 16 years since I had a puppy. So the capabilities that I had of knowing how to take care of a puppy just went right out, and I kind of had to start over. So that has helped me focus on other things. You know, working with him and getting him to a good place where he's behaving himself inside, and he's now learned to ring the bells to go to the bathroom outside. So that's been really fun. Although I do say he uses it for other purposes. When it's super duper hot outside, I don't bring him out much except to go to the bathroom. So I feel like sometimes he uses that as a way to get outside, just to get some fresh air, which I understand. But he's a black dog. It's been super humid and not really fun to be hanging out there as a human, let alone as a four-legged animal with lots of fur. And he's gotten quite a bit bigger than the last time I had him on, so I really want to show him to you. But I just wanted to touch base with you guys about another way for us to distress. And I haven't done these in a while, and I'm hoping you'll do them with me, is some stretches. And I'm just going to go through that routine that I always go through, but I'm going to take my mic off just because I want to step back a little bit and hope that you can see me. Ha ha ha. She says, she hopes. She thinks it might work, but we won't know. I'm trying to get this microphone to not fall onto the floor. Okay. So, when we're stretching, we want to make sure our shoulders are nice and back and relaxed and down. So that's when, for me, going like this, standing there talking to you, so I want you to get a side view of what's happening. To me, going like this, up and around and down. And this feels so much better. That's why those kind of holster braces seem to help with the posture. Kind of gets everything just realigned and straightened out a little bit. Okay, so that's one thing we're doing. We're keeping our arms at our sides. We're taking our feet a little bit wider than hip distance apart, so you have the bigger base for more balance. If you feel like you want to challenge yourself a little bit with the stretches, you know, give yourself a little bit smaller base, because we're going to go to one leg at a time for a couple things. So first we're going to bring that right arm across our body, low, keeping it low, below the shoulder. We don't want it up here by our neck, okay? And then you just want to stretch out the back of your arm. And I like to slide my arm down my straight arm, and you'll feel a little bit different stretch all the way down. You're actually pulling in with this hand as you're kind of letting this one just kind of be limp. We're going to take that straight arm up over our head. You're going to reach behind us. You're going to pat yourself on the back. You're going to grab that bent elbow with your opposite hand, and you're going to just kind of tip a little bit. It feels good because you're stretching out the back of your arm down here and through your side, so you get that full length stretch. We're going to do the same two stretches on the other side. So you're going to bring this arm across your body. We're going to keep it low. Bring it across. You're going to let this arm do all the work. So it's pulling in and sliding down all at the same time. Make sure you keep it a little bent to your knee. I just reminded myself. You can get your legs locked up too tight while stretching the upper half by keeping the lower half knees not a little bent. Okay, so then you're going to take that straight arm up and over. Remember, you're patting yourself on the back. You're going to grab the opposite with the opposite. Wowzers. Maybe this will get my brain function back. And you're tipping. Remember, you're not leaning forward. You're keeping to the side and you're tipping to the side. No rotation, okay? Then we're going to come up. We're going to reach up, just like you're climbing a rope. Reach, reach, and reach. Okay, then you're going to grab your right wrist with your left hand, and you're going to gently tip, and you're pulling with your left hand at the same time. We're going to do the same thing to the other side. Grab with the wrist and pull gently. Remember, we're not twisting, still keeping to the side. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to come up. We're going to open our arms nice and wide, and we're going to just do nice little pulses with your palms facing behind you. Not your palms. Your palms facing the opposite wall. Wow, girl. And then you're going to flip them, rotate them in, still pulsing. And then you want to grab behind you again. And then you're going to gently pull down like that. Now, the further you pull away from yourself, the more you stretch your upper chest, your shoulders, your neck, a little bit like that. All right. And then we're going to lean, still holding on if you want to. If you can't, go ahead and let go. We're going to lean forward, just going to let your arms dangle. You're not trying to touch your toes. You're going to keep that little bend to your knees. I know you can't see me, but I'm down here. Okay? Just kind of letting that small of your back relax. We're going to come up nice and easy real quick so we can check our cobbler here, because that was our first 10 minutes. I think we can keep it uncovered. We'll see how it goes. We'll start another 5 minutes. All right, we're back to that other position where we're dangling. Okay? Take my glasses off. Just letting those arms hang. Reach through if you want. You'll feel a little bit of a stretch on your lower back and the back of your legs. Come up just a little bit. Nice and easy, because you don't want to give yourself like that dizzy feeling. You want your legs a little bit further apart, and you're going to lean to the right, bending your right knee and keeping your left leg straight. So you're off to the side. Then you're going to come up, and then you're going to bend your left knee and put the booty back, and you're going to stretch that inner thigh. Oh, boy, was that needed. All right, we're going to do the same thing again. This side, feel that thigh, stretch out. When you're sitting for long periods of time, this is a good stretch. This is a very good stretch. All right, and then you lean to the other side. Stretches out the hip a little bit. All right, then we're going to come up. We're going to kind of walk our legs in, walk them in, nice and easy. You're going to, if you need to, hang on to the counter, to a chair, to a wall. But if you can balance, give yourself a little bit of a bend to the standing leg, and then you're going to grab the other foot. See what I'm doing? And I'm putting my knees together so they're right next to each other. And it should be stretching out this whole hip flexor, front of your thigh. That's good stuff. Keeping a little bend to your knee helps with your balance too, if you're trying to do it without holding on. Gives your abdominals a little bit of a workout. So a little bend to that standing leg. Grab that foot and drop those legs, those knees so they're right next to each other. And then push that hip forward a little bit. And oh boy, much needed. Now this is a good way to distress, and why I brought it up. Oh my goodness gracious. Wow, that was much needed. So now I'm going to step back, and I wish you could see my feet, but you really can't. Next time I do this, I'll have to do. But there are times where I do it on other episodes. So I think episode 24 is the first one. But you're going to put your foot out to the side, okay? And you're going to kind of lean back. You'll stretch out that whole inner thigh, the hip, the butt. And then if you can, grab that toe, those toes of the straight leg, and kind of pull back a little bit. And you'll feel that stretch go all the way up your back, the back of your leg. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So leg out to the side, toe up, hip out. Oh, yes, that's good stuff. When you release all this stuff out of your system, all this pent-up lactic acid, your body just has a tendency, a natural tendency to relax. So we're going to come up, We're gonna roll those shoulders back. Get them good down and around. Nice big circular motion. And then let's do it forward. So rounding the shoulder blades. Really trying to separate them. That feels so nice. And then you're gonna reach forward. Press your palms towards that opposite wall and kind of round your shoulder blades and drop your chin to your chest. You should feel a nice stretch right between your shoulder blades, and then bring them up and around, all the way around. And I kind of go, namaste. That feels great, doesn't it? It feels, you feel a little bit taller. And if you have to do it more than once a day, do it. It's such a relief to be able to go, oh, wait, I can stand up this tall. I do know what my body feels like, you know, that reassessment of our whole system, you know, checks and balances, making sure that one part is taking care of the other part like it's supposed to be. You know, that's what we need. Okay, so for the next few minutes, I'm going to put you on pause. I'm going to make sure that we're cooking okay. I might need to cover it, and I'll be back with you in a little bit. Don't go anywhere. Maybe just get a drink. Come right back. All right, so what I decided to do was, especially since it's a butter pecan cobbler, and I'm still seeing a bunch of little, like, dried spots, I'm going to add, like, I think it's like a tablespoon. It might not even be that much. And I'm just gonna drizzle it in the dry spots. Just enough to cover. I think it was a tablespoon and a half, to be honest. Okay. And get this back in there. And finished up. I think 10 more minutes just might do it, hopefully. Ugh. Fingers crossed. All right, so I'll be back in about 10 minutes. All right, we got a couple minutes before the cake is done, but I wanted to get you he tried to run away. My little guy on camera, who's not so little anymore. The last time when we went to the vet, which was not last Friday, but maybe the Friday before. 31 pounds, but he's definitely heavier than that now. Oh, don't wrap up in my... He's doing great. He's a smarty boy. Yeah, you're a smarty boy who's going to eat my cord. Still working on that microphone, guys. I haven't forgotten about it. I just forget about it until it's time to film. All right, and I'm hoping this will be done in a few minutes. He's sniffing me because I smell so good. Anyway, what I was going to tell you about the chicken is that when it's done, I'm going to, he's trying to eat my apron. I'm going to pull it, and then we're going to have barbecued chicken Sammys. Yummy. I'm so excited. But yeah, we're just waiting 30 seconds here, I think we'll be done. Watch out, little guy. That's a little guy. I'm going to say it needs a little bit more time, and frankly, I'm going to put you on pause again because it looks like we still have some dry spots. So I'm going to do, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll keep you posted. I did do the butter, I showed you that, but I see it's pooling, so maybe I need to have it flowing in a different direction. All right, I'm gonna put you on pause. Gotta do some maneuvering. All right, so essentially what I did was I just went around with a spoon and put very little dollops of butter on the actual dry spots, okay? So really didn't work out to be even another tablespoon. So we're still at less than 2 tablespoons of butter for the whole kit and caboodle. But what I did want to show you was, you know, I can't go anywhere or do anything without adding a little cinnamon sugar. And so I'm going to do a coating, a light coating of that on the top. Then we're just going to cook it for, I don't know, 5 more minutes or so. And then we'll get a little bitty sample. Maybe I can hide where I get it from. And the sugar should caramelize the top a little bit. Yes, I know it's cooled down, but I'll know for next time when I pull it out at that one point where I should have decided to add more butter and just do the dollops right on the dry parts. And then I think we wouldn't even need to have used as much butter as I did. And melting it didn't really make any sense because this is already warm. So essentially you're just filling in the spots where it was dried out. Hopefully 5 minutes will do it. But in the meantime, we could talk about, de-stressing and how much better I feel already. Just having done those stretches and feeling taller, and while I don't have a chest per se, I still feel as though what portion I do have is up nice and high. He just rang the bells. But to know to talk to someone to de-stress as well. Sometimes just putting it out there in the universe that you're stressed to the max gives your anxiety somewhere to go besides just staying inside your body. Just saying it out loud to yourself, in my experience, has been extremely helpful. Extremely helpful. So, yeah, we're just waiting for this to finish up so we can I just want to try like a little bitty corner of it. But, I really like the smell of the butter pecan cake. It has a nice aroma, and I think adding the nuts in the beginning so that they got roasted or baked with the rest of the cake. I might even think about toasting them beforehand, but I don't know if it's necessary if they're getting cooked basically uncovered for the entire 28, 35 to 35 minutes. So I feel like they're going to get that kind of toastedness, but they always say, add flavor to each component. So maybe that's where I could have added a little flavor. I do buy them roasted already, but toasting them in a dry pan sometimes does give it a little bit and brings out the oils too. So that might have helped give us a little bit more of a, added a little bit of fat to the cake without adding the butter. Okay, it shouldn't be long now. I'll be back with you shortly. Alright guys, it's gonna go off right now, so I'm gonna get her out of there. I think we've accomplished our goal here. Essentially don't have any dry spots left, but we also have a very slidey cake, so I'm gonna guess it has to rest, cool, and do all that kind of business. But I also thought that since it is still got some cakey parts, I see cakey parts, that I'll probably just try and let steam, which is why I got this piece of aluminum foil here. I was just gonna put like that and let that steam kind of get rid of the last of the dry spots, but I do have to sample it a little bit. So let's see if there's a spot I can take it from. I'm trying to get some of these dry spots covered in the juice from the. Okay, where can I go? Ooh, that's a plum. It kind of came up. So I'm gonna come over here. I don't think anybody will notice that Well, that failed. Epic. It just kind of caved in on the sides. I can't even grab any. Oh, wow. Okay, guys. What little bit I did have. And I'm not going to mess with it anymore because I don't want to. I already ruined the corner. But I was just trying to take the little bit. Using that butter pecan cake mix, it just gave it that level of flavor that we couldn't have gotten from just the regular yellow. But with that being said, we could have switched it up and used the yellow cake mix, but then used a black cherry pop or, or a lemon lime, or, it doesn't matter. The possibilities are endless. You could have used a chocolate cake with strawberries and maybe done a strawberry pop. We might have to try that. Eek! Anyway, I think with that being said, and we got quite a bit of time left on our chicken, so you'll have to follow me on Instagram at The Best Blessed Life, or on Facebook at Kristin Haas, Kristin, to see how both these lovely things turn out. Hopefully the chicken will be delicious as a pulled chicken sandwich. And we're going to add a little bit of ice cream to this, maybe heat it up again, and I will get you all kinds of pictures. Hopefully it photographs well. With that being said, I think all I have left to say is have a good day. Go do great things. Be your best self, and please live your best blessed life. Maybe get your tongue to work better than mine. Thanks for watching.